When your keister's in that saddle, your toes are gonna be just barely touching. Setting the proper seat height on your bike is important. Too high and you're unstable. Too low and you're putting a lot of stress on your knees and getting less power from your legs. In this video, we'll teach you how to set the proper saddle height, which is when you have a slight 30 to 35 degree bend in your knee at the bottom of each pedal stroke. All you need is a multi-tool or a 4 or 5 millimeter hex wrench and a solid wall to lean on. If you're adjusting the saddle on a carbon bike, you'll need a torque wrench as well. Now on most bikes, the seat post is secured with a clamp that releases with either a quick release lever or a 4 to 5 millimeter hex wrench. Be careful to look for the torque spec on that clamp. If you're adjusting the seat on a carbon frame, it's important to use that torque wrench when you're tightening the clamp. Once you've loosened the clamp, you can raise or lower the seat post. As you stand next to your bike, set the saddle to the height of your hip bone as a starting point. Each seat post is marked with a minimum insertion line. If you're raising the seat post, be careful not to raise it higher than this line. Tighten the seat post clamp once you've found that starting position. For this next part, it helps to stand next to a wall to support yourself. First, lift the rear of the bike off the ground and give the crank a few forward turns to make sure the bike's in gear. With one hand on the wall, stand over the bike and squeeze the brake. Boost yourself up onto the saddle and pedal backwards a few times, stopping when one leg's at the 6 o'clock position. With the ball of your foot on the pedal, straighten that leg until your knee is locked out. Your heel should fall 1 to 2 centimeters below the pedal. It helps if a friend can stand to the side and check for you. Now, if you can't fully straighten your leg, raise the saddle. If your knee's locked but you're still stretching to reach that pedal, lower the saddle. Get off the bike to raise or lower the saddle height and make small adjustments as you go. Make sure the saddle is straight by looking straight down and lining the nose of the saddle up with the top tube. With your saddle height properly set, you'll only be able to touch your toes to the ground when you're sitting on the saddle. If you can put your whole foot flat on the ground, your saddle is likely too low. The final test is going to be that first real ride. And it's a great idea to bring that multi-tool with you in case you need to fine-tune the seat height. If you're experiencing knee pain or you feel like you need to get out of the saddle to get any power, your saddle is likely too low. If you're rocking your hips back and forth and you're reaching to get to the pedals, your saddle is likely too high. Now with your saddle at the proper height, you'll be way more comfortable and get a lot more power out of those legs. Happy riding, everyone.